Welcome friends to another r/IDontWorkHereLady video. I promise you don't have to do any work here, but could you hit those like and subscribe buttons down below? That said, our first story of the day is by Super Relationship 22. I was confused for another student and almost got suspended for it. I, 15 years old at the time, 32 now, went to a Catholic high school in Canada, and at that point in my life was pretty straight-laced. Always on time, followed the rules, just trying not to get myself in trouble in grade 9. One day, I go down to the principal's office as I wanted to see if I can have my MP3 player during my lunch period. Mid-2000s and was still very naive. When the vice principal, henceforth known as VP, saw me, his face went beet red and just pointed to his office, telling me to follow him in and take a seat. Though now I do have a tougher skin, back then it wasn't really the case, and was already feeling myself go into an anxiety attack, so the only thing I was able to do was what I was told and followed VP into his office and took a seat. What happened after was perhaps one of the most vicious grillings I've ever received in my life, going on about missing school and how they found me in the smoke pit. I didn't even smoke, and how I was super close to being suspended, etc., etc. After around 10 minutes of this, VP finally relented long enough for me, who was on the verge of tears, to stammer out "I just wanted to listen to music." After a few silent seconds, the VP turned his face towards his monitor that was facing away from me and started typing away for a little while. After another brief pause of him looking at me and back at the screen, and turned the screen around to reveal another kid's face who looked super similar to me, asking, "Is this you?" After answering in the negative and giving my name, his face goes ghost white after realizing what he had just done. Needless to say, after many apologies from the VP, and after a few minutes to recover, I was told I was able to listen to my music during lunch period for the rest of the year if we kept this between us. I know it isn't super interesting, but thought it may be a good laugh. How do you end these things? Toodaloo? I definitely feel bad for OP, and that's why they should really make sure they got the right kid. That said, for those of you that went to a public high school, when it's lunchtime and you're in the cafeteria or wherever you're having lunch, do you think it should be fair game for kids to be able to use their phones and listen to things on headphones and earbuds and whatnot? Were you guys able to when you went to high school? I think for me, we weren't technically allowed to, but we still kind of just got away with it anyways. Should you? Were you able to? Leave it down in the comments. Our next story is by Magical Deer. Do you really want to do this? So this was something I never thought would happen, but it did. It's been a while, busy with IRL stuff and COVID, so I didn't get much open time around, but this one made me want to laugh, especially since I thought that American Karens don't leave the States. It's after the 2019 Indonesian general election. The tensions are high, riot police are setting up and down in the basement of a shopping mall I frequent to because I live nearby. The police in the nearby military police station are setting up a command post. So the minute you enter the mall, you see a lot of cops at all the entrances, especially the metal detectors and X-ray scanners. Some malls in Indonesia put in place X-ray scanners due to the terrorist attacks, which means it looked more like an airport. Now, as a frequent visitor, the guards all know me, the cops not so much, but they follow the security guard's lead. So here I am at my local Starbucks doing some work on my laptop with a cup of tea next to me. You can see that I'm busy with paper piles, the food I just ate, and the tea that was getting cold. So here I was busy typing up some documents when my headset, which I was using to listen to some calming music, was taken away from my head. Luckily, I was wearing my cheap backup headset, but that didn't scare me. No, it made me mad. So I stood up and glared at eye level to this obviously Caucasian lady with blonde hair. Let's call her Blonde Menace, BM for short. Here's the convo. BM says, "Finally, do you know how long I've been waiting for someone to take my order?" Most Starbucks workers wear uniforms with green aprons. I was wearing Marpad pants, a bright green shirt which has the words "Been there, done that," black shoes, and a belt which has a phone pouch. Obviously, I'm not a worker. I say, "Lady, this place is self-serving most of the time, and the place to put your order is downstairs." As I reply, I snatch my headset back, and she says, "But I've been waiting here for hours." I say, "I don't freaking care, you yank." Because of the yelling and the Starbucks being located near the main lobby to the mall, a couple of security guards came up. These two guards know me, both have been in this job for a year. Guard 1 says, "Sir, is there a problem?" Before I could reply, the blonde menace cuts in and starts making up BS about something that I couldn't keep track of. Finally, I decide to use the one voice I rarely used. It's the one I actually used for morning parade formation for the flag ceremony back when I was in high school. I said, "Shut up and sit down." This caused the blonde menace to jump back a bit in shock, but this also caused both cops to come up to see what was going on. Seeing two Bree-mob officers, one carrying an assault rifle, has made the blonde menace realize she's now in trouble and decided that retreat is a better part of valor. And as she ran away, one of the guards gives chase. I explained everything to the security guard and police officers, who understood, and the guard at the CCTV room saw everything. Last I saw of the blonde menace was being escorted out in handcuffs by a cop and the security guard who chased her. Let alone taking a cue from the sheer amount of security that's in this place. Regardless, it's never acceptable to go up to somebody and snatch their headphones off their head. In my opinion, you do that to somebody, especially somebody that's wearing decent headphones, and you're liable for receiving a Will Smith moment. Our next story is by OK Outlandishness 1363, My 30-Minute Trip. I, female 32, went to shop at a big bulk membership-only store, rhymes with ma'ams. I went for cat and dog food, as well as some flea and tick stuff and treats for the cats and dogs. A quick in and out trip, right? As I'm loading a bag of dog food onto my flatbed cart, I hear someone clear their throat. I go to load a second bag of dog food, and then a more stern, excuse me, hello, accompanied by a tapping foot. Figuring she needed to get some dog food, I finished and said, "Oh, sorry, I'll get out of your way." This Karen went off on me. I just stood there in utter disbelief as this crazy Karen verbally dressed me down like I was a naughty child. So I just walked away, as she's screaming that she'll have me fired to my back as I'm retreating. Fast forward, I'm in the self-checkout line, and wouldn't you know it, here's crazy Karen again, screaming that here is the employee who assaulted me and I demand she be fired immediately, to the poor man in a fluorescent neon yellow vest, as all the employees wear, that she's dragging behind her. He said, "Ma'am, I can't fire someone who doesn't work here. I don't know what to tell you." She then demanded that he call the police because I assaulted her. Cops arrive, the manager and one officer go to view the tapes, and one officer says to interview me while a third questions Super Karen nearby. Obviously, they see the footage, and Karen was cited for trying to make a false report, and I got my stuff paid for by corporate that day, so it was a win, sort of, in a roundabout way. If you had to spend an hour dealing with a Super Karen, but that Super Karen got a false police report and the stuff you got picked up was comped for you by the corporate of that store, would you be willing to take that deal to get the free stuff? Let me know if you'd take that deal down in the comments. Our next story is by Whoknows13492, cast to act as production staff, get treated as production staff. Now that my NDA is over, I figured I could finally share a great story that happened last summer while I was working as a supporting actor. I'm still not going to say the name of the TV show because they're run by a huge media company, but it was a very big, critically acclaimed US TV show. I, 21-year-old female at the time, had been working as a supporting actor, basically a glorified extra, for a few years. And last summer, I was cast for the new season of this big TV show. I was cast as European-looking concert staff/music tech for an episode based around a concert. I was asked to bring outfit choices, so I borrowed a few items of clothing and accessories that were my boyfriend's, as he actually works as a sound engineer/videographer. On the first day of filming, the wardrobe department chose which clothing I should wear and approved my accessories, etc. They were commenting on how good and realistic I looked, and I told them it was because I was cast to act as the same job my boyfriend actually does, which they found entertaining. A few times during that day, I had other supporting actors come up to me asking for direction and questions about where they should go, and I told them I was only dressed like this for the role and was a supporting actor like them. They thought it was hilarious and apologized. Around the third scene we shot on the day, I was given my directions again and had specific instructions on what to carry, who to pretend to talk to and when, etc. Normal background stuff. Action was called for the scene and the cameras were rolling. It was then that I hear a member of the actual production staff hiss at me, "Get out of the shot." I looked confused, but continued doing what I was meant to do so I didn't cause a retake. I had to pick up some electrical cables, walk through the main actors, and walk out the door with them. I picked up the cables and heard, "Stop it, what are you doing?" This woman was talking in that annoying hissy loud whisper, and everyone could hear. I ignored because it is literally my job to, and walked through the main cast and out the door. I paused on the other side of the door and waited for cut. As soon as the production called cut, I walked back to my initial placement to shoot the scene again, only to see this woman running towards me. She's still trying to keep her voice down, but screeches at me, "What the heck do you think you're doing? You can't just walk across the set when the cameras are rolling. You can move this stuff later." I stood back, stunned, and just scoffed. As soon as it sunk in that she had mistaken me for actual production staff, I nervously laughed and said, I'm an actor." Her face was priceless. She asked why my outfit was so realistic, and I told her about my partner's job. She was incredibly embarrassed as her speaking caused the scene to be shot again. All of the production staff and the very famous main cast watched this happen and started smiling. I just walked back to my starting position and got ready for the next shot. From then on, the production team all recognized me and said hi, making jokes about how I was trying to steal their jobs. Even the main 3 cast members, who I massively idolized, began chatting to me between takes and joking around. And generally not being the Hollywood jerks I worried that they might be, I didn't see the woman again for the week I was filming, and continued being friendly on set with the 3 famous guys, one of whom I had the pleasure of taking smoke breaks with a couple of times. All in all, I'm glad she was a jerk because my whole time filming was so much more fun, and I got smoke breaks with one of my favorite actors ever. This is honestly a fantastic story and I love hearing it, but now I'm sitting here just dying. I want to know what show this was. I scrolled through the comments hoping that somebody threw out some guesses here or there, but there really wasn't anything. I was expecting Reddit to do their usual thing of, "Oh, it's definitely this show, this episode, this timestamp." If you look closely in this shot in the very middle of the scene, right at this millisecond, OP walks through with a very clear production staff outfit. And then of course that comment is gilded, and there's also an edit, "Thanks for the gold, kind stranger." And our final story of the day is by Pineapple Forward. Man mistakes my disability lanyard for staff uniform. This story takes place around the end of 2020. I was seeing my partner off at the railway station and waiting for a ride home when it happened. I don't entirely understand why this guy thought I was staff. Yes, I was wearing a lanyard, but a quick look at it even from a distance should have made it blatantly obvious I was just a member of the public. Now, I was at the railway station entrance just waiting to be picked up. I look nothing like an employee. I'm wearing a purple sweater, a purple backpack, and I was carrying shopping bags. I also had a green sunflower lanyard that, here in the UK at least, people with invisible disabilities wear to alert staff that we're disabled. In my case, it's autism, not really relevant to the story though, I guess. Anyway, I was just browsing my phone when a rather irritated guy was walking around, then he looked at me. The jerk said, "Do you work here?" I say, "No, sorry, I don't." They point to the security in the distance and say, "Do they work here?" I say, "I'm not sure. I don't know if they're hired by the station or employed by someone else to cover the station." The jerk says, "I need to get a ticket." I say, "Oh, there's a ticket machine over there. You can use that to buy a ticket." They said, "I tried that, but it's not working." And then I went back to my phone thinking this was over. About 30 seconds later, I see the jerk pointing his phone at me and, bizarrely, recording my disability lanyard. He says, "I'm recording this." I say, "What?" They say, "I'm recording this. You can't be bothered to help me get a ticket." I say, "I just said I don't work here." The jerk says to the security, "Where can I get a ticket? That machine's broken." The security said something. I couldn't really process what they said as I was too dumbfounded processing what was going on. I assume they said they couldn't help him. The jerk says, "You guys can't be bothered. Me, can't be bothered." I say, "I can't help you. I don't work here." And then the jerk started walking towards the ticket area and started rambling about not being able to get his ticket. I don't know what happened, but he did attract a crowd, and then the security had to stop him from whatever he was doing. Did he not even know he could just buy a ticket from his phone? That said, I wish he uploaded the video. Would have loved to have a link to the altercation. For some reason, I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume this guy's knowledge with his phone is only how to record it in case he needs to cover his butt. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So of all these stories I've read today, which is your favorite and why? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you haven't yet, if you could like and subscribe, that would mean a lot to me. Whatever you do, whether it's liking, subscribing, turning notifications on, all of it helps grow this channel and I appreciate the heck out of it. So until next time, I'll see you all tomorrow with some more stories.